And hello, and welcome back to Fate's Hollow Ataraxia. Last time I was sort of jumping around areas, and I think I've done everything this time frame, so yay. So, am I still missing something story related? I might be. Well, I might as well talk to Saber while I'm here. Now then, speaking of things to ask Saber about, after dinner. Right, last time we talked about bras. Now, I'm a little scared every time we have a new conversation that it might go that direction. Not that the whole cutscene and whatnot wasn't fun, just, you know, putting myself in Emmy's shoes. I'm taking care of preparations for tomorrow's breakfast, and the dishes that I've been putting off. The breakfast stuff is done, and while I'm making sure the oily frying pans are sparkling clean, everyone's relaxing after the meal and playing cards in the living room behind me. They've probably been at it for an hour already. At first, both Saber and Ryder were just learning the rules, and it was pretty quiet. But now, far from that, the atmosphere has become completely different. Ryder reaches for the card on the right. Ryder reaches for the card on the left. Ryder draws the one on the left as if it was only natural.
No time で見抜かれた? なぜ? どうして? どうやって?
I don't know what all powers are related to her Medusa stuff. It's just the petrification, or does she have other seeing powers, maybe? I think she had a tell, ultimately, but, like, I wonder if you could just, like, sort of x-ray through them. There isn't much to it. Minor details aside, they're playing Old Maid. Whenever Fujine makes a face like that, the game definitely isn't going to go her way.
もう、ライダーさん強すぎよ、ほんと。きっと、独身術に違いないわ。いや、あるいは壁役がいると見た。例えばそこの家政婦。なぜ延々30分もフライパンを洗っているのか?
Are you accusing me? Fujine points a finger towards the kitchen. However, Ryder's sitting with her back towards me. If anything, I could be helping Fujine cheat by watching Ryder's hand.
はいはい、つまんないこと言ってないでゲームを楽しめ。そして負けに負け続け、完全なる負け犬として藤村組に逃げ帰るがいい。
Squeak, squeak, I'm rubbing the underside of the pan.
おのれ、弟分の分際で何を言うか。変だ、負けないわよ。勝つまでやるもんね。所詮確率のゲームだもの。100回近くやれば勝ちも負けもイーブンなんだから。
It's not a game of chance if you're using the skill of lying and tells and whatnot. A howl echoes in the distance. Of course, it's partly determined by chance, but, you know, not entirely. Compare this and this. Repeats 100 times to determine whichever one is greater. What kind of game is that? That is, in a game that balances both luck and skill, you can't judge skill of just 1 or even 10 rounds. Skill is something that will be revealed over a long period of time, not a single match. That said, Fujine's line of thought will destroy her. Playing 100 rounds won't result in a tie, it'll just make their respective abilities painfully clear. Well, she seems to be an expert at deceiving herself with something like, let's see, I guess about 3 more times would be enough. Well, in any case... Fujine, her face as easy to read as ever, has another card drawn by a very apologetic-looking Sakura, sitting to her side. Needless to say, the game ends with Fujine in last place.
おかしいわよ。まさかさくらちゃんまでサイキッか？ひどい。今までずっと隠してたのね。
No, that's just funny.
藤村先生、ババ抜きはやめて違うゲームにしませんか?
You could tell her that she has a massive tell.
例えば
えっと
She's probably trying to come up with something where revealing your hand through facial expressions doesn't matter as much. Bluff and President are the first ones out. That said, after a nervous breakdown going feral and messing up the whole place, the remaining difficulty is explaining the rules to the other two.
先生、ブラックジャックはどうでしょう？
I'm not sure that's a ton better.
おお、いいわ、受けて立ちましょう。
それは一体どんなルールなのですか？
Saka proceeds to explain the rules while pretty much just playing with Fujine. There are fewer hands than in poker, and the game itself is just a slow accumulation of points, almost like a sword fight. Even letting your emotions show shouldn't make you lose, but if people know when to fold or stop. Who's the dealer?
バーストに次ぐバースト。これが噂のカード破産ってやつなのね。
Give or take. Well, it's true that blackjack isn't a great choice for people who don't know when to stop. Yep. Alright then. The blackjack round started with the score being reset to 0, yet the result is even more prominent than with Old Maid.
スペードのエース。失礼、ブラックジャックです。
Interesting, that's right. Fujine, her hand full of face cards, and Ryder, making use of her own intelligence, both have managed to hold on. But in the end, Saber emerged victorious. It's frighteningly addictive. Have a score higher than your opponent and you'll definitely win the round, Craze Instinct tells you. Gradually, the rules shifted, but basically Saber ended up facing the other three as the dealer. However, in a fight with Saber, the Great Dragon, all three of them had a weakness. I guess Saka and Ryder are two of a kind. They both have essentially 0 luck. I can start to get that. They keep drawing inferior cards and never quite get enough points to be competitive.
ひょー、また21超えたわよ。
And she just keeps busting. If that's what it sounds like. It goes without saying that Fujine draws too many cards and destroys herself before she gets a chance to participate. And yet, come to think of it, she is the only one to sometimes win against Saber.
結局持って生まれた運の競い合いか。
And then there's her wild nature. Just like a battle between a dragon and a tiger.
こうなったらレートを上げるわよ、セイバーちゃん。私とあなたの1対1。どう？10ゲームトータルの結果勝負で差し馬夕食のおかず1品っていうのは。
Isn't this after dinner already?
それは大きく出ましたね、タイガ。つまり負けた方が常に空腹にあえぐということですか？
そうよ。セイバーちゃんには大きすぎる勝負かしら？
It seemed like Saber was very confident in her previous statement.
どう？この勝負受ける勇気があるかの？
直後のゲームゆえ必勝の心構えは封印していたのですが、いいでしょう。それほどの大勝負なら本気を出せるというものです。申し訳ありませんが、お腹が空くのはあなたです、タイガ。
Saber smiles with confidence.
セイバーちゃん、今まで本気じゃなかったっていうの？
まあ本気でやればカロリーを消費しますから。
But the thing is, no matter who wins, I'll likely have to bear the damage. Whichever one will be gaining weight, and whichever losing, it's inevitable that the one being starved will eventually revolt. In the end, it will simply come down to one more main dish portion for dinner. As the household treasure, I will not permit such an outcome.
はい、物騒な勝負はそこまで。お茶を入れたから一服しよう。
Tea and tea cakes in hand, I make my way through. Feeling the strength of Saber's assault, Fujine reluctantly stepped down. Thankfully, Saber promptly withdrew as well.
で、結局セイバーの圧勝か？
はい。全く歯が立ちませんでした。
We chat while sipping tea. Wait, why is everyone but Saber ignoring the tea case?
どうしたんだ？
その負け分の方に取られちゃってるんです。
さくら、その言い分は人聞きが悪い。最初に賭け事にまで発展させたのはタイガです。
Oh, were they anting up their share of the, snacks?
最後だけじゃなくて初めっからギャンブルだったのか。
はい。そうすれば気合の入り方も違う。ゲームは大切なものをかけなければ嘘だ。
うじね。
Well, she's not wrong, but you know. As I glance to my side, she's lying down with her back towards me. Totally innocent.
家主権限で賭け事は無効。みんなの共有財産なんだから個人資産にしちゃダメだぞ。ただし
I stop her as she leaps up in joy.
教訓としてバカなことを言い出した藤姉はお預けだ。
なんてこと言うのよ、シロ。お姉ちゃんはそんな子に育てた覚えはないわよ。
うるさい。教師のくせに賭け事を強制する方が悪い。少し反省してろ。
シロのバカ。
Why did I choose to do another Fujine one? Fujine is stomping your feet like a child.
バカで結構。口寂しいなら茶でも飲んでとっとと帰れ。
To reinforce my point, I take a tea cake and put it in front of Saber.
それと経緯はどうあれ約束したからには藤姉のお菓子はセイバーのものだ。なんだ次こういうことになったらその時は藤姉に待ったをかけてくれ。
はい。今後は気をつけます。
She was totally gonna let it happen again.
すみません。勝負事になるとつい熱くなってしまって。
Saber reflects on monopolizing the supply of confectionaries. I wonder if she did regain her calm.
甘い。甘すぎる。藤村ライガのイリアちゃんびいきばりに猫可愛がりよ、シロ。セイバーちゃんにも非はある。ギャンブルは参加した人間も捕まるのだ。
I mean by your... Wait, your Raiga, that's your dad, right? Pampers Ilya? Huh.
はい。そんなわけで私にもおせんちょうだい。
No. Munch, munch, down goes the cracker. You owe me a cracker now. It's another common outrageous spectacle, but I did establish a new fact today. In a gambling game of 100 rounds, it takes merely 10 for Saber to establish herself as a master. It's good to know. Never ever. Nah. Have I gotten enough to... Okay. New stuff now. Got it. Dialogue Mobius Link? Well, that's different. It's like Heavens feel something previously. How many resurrections does this make, I wonder? I can hear voices. They curse at me, the one who, while sinking into death, fell past it again and again. Unable to escape death, they cry that it's unfair that I get to live again. My entire body hurts enough to suffocate. The voices of accusations beset me. Die, give up, serves you right. I can't see. They grow stronger each time as I hear them. I don't want to die. I can't stand this. Filthy, disgusting. I can't see anything. I want to die. I don't want to hear this. If I have to go through this, I don't want to come back to life. But I even got used to that. Die. Then get it over with and kill me. Laughable. Then go ahead and enjoy yourself. Repent. Yes, have I repented again and again? It's your fault. Right. It's all somebody's fault. Disgusting. That's because I'm not dressed up. Inhuman. This mirror is foggy.
demon!
Yes, that's right. A human isn't capable of doing this. I move past the many voices and begin to breathe again. It's not that painful from here on. Rather, I can even feel relief. As long as I get away from that prison, what comes next is close to the joy of birth. Prison, yes. That place matches the description of a prison. Slander, insults, derision. The stripping of human rights, dignity, and freedom. The afterlife derived from that should be known to any person. Suffering for an eternity, without pause. In Buddhism, it's called the hell of uninterrupted suffering. But that is vaguely different from where I came from. There wasn't only pain. That place had eternity in emptiness. Both were beyond reach, and had no meaning even if they weren't. That's why it was painful. Because even if I gained them by some miracle, I could never understand what wasn't meant for human hands to hold. I assume we're in Bazette's perspective. I won't know. I know it's hard given the structure of the game, but man, there can be some tone whiplash between some of these. I raise my body from the sofa, still feeling drained after a resurrection that I had dealt with for the umpteenth time. I check if I have control of my left hand.
Yo, 目覚めたか、マスター。
The now typical morning greeting from my servant. He is sitting with his back turned away, still working on his puzzle, apparently. It could be solved in just a matter of minutes, but he must have taken a liking to it. That part of him is just like a child's. Well, from his perspective before, didn't he want to complete it? I vaguely remember that. It was a small detail, though, so I might be remembering it correctly. If only that innocence showed in his regular behavior.
確認しますが、私はアサシンと相打ちになったのですか？
いや、一方的に負けたよ。あんたの右ストレートは空振って、野郎のザバーニーヤがあんたの頭を吹っ飛ばした。
Neato.
すごかったぜ。パンって脳みそが破裂して上半身が吹っ飛ばされてた。脳を丸ごと火薬に変えて体を吹き飛ばすなんて手の込んだ殺し方だよな。脳みそ掴んだならそのまま引きずり出して終わりだってのに。
Is that how that works? Wait, what assassin? Which assassin? Because there's two technically by the end of Fate, right? Heavens feel. My servant is prattling on cheerfully. I imagine my body without its upper half, and sicken myself as a result. I recall my fight with Assassin. I met Assassin's master by accident at the forest behind the school. The enemy well, okay. So probably the latter Assassin then, if they weren't by the gate. The enemy consisted of just one lone master. As I saw no servant, I charged into combat. The enemy master was a skilled Dao user and controlled countless automata as if they were his own limbs. The French Daos equipped with precise killing mechanisms were a threat, but I was well acquainted with how to deal with Daos. That sounds different. Perhaps it's another case of the master and that whole situation being entirely different somehow. I also have experience fighting in a free-for-all with the monsters nesting in the city. So it's a simple matter to overwhelm the master. If only one of those dolls had not worn a skull mask.
まさか、サーバント。
The moment I realized what he was, I was hit by multiple poisonous needles. Assassin, a class where one specific heroic spirit is chosen, but whose abilities change with each Holy Grail war. Wait, what? I'm trying to remember if that's consistent. Because obviously we know our good old buddy sword wielding assassin, and he's clearly something different. We know the other assassin, and I don't remember much about it, but the vague memory I have of the assassin from Fate Zero was like a like an assassin that could like split their body up into many different types. I feel like they never gave that assassin any sort of personality, but it's also been like a decade or whatever it's been, so at the very least I don't think I have anything to contradict that outside of the good old fake servant assassin, but yeah. As the name that was the source of the word assassin was one that multiple assassins inherited, a different one would become assassin for each war. Okay. Assassin is a group, not one being. And of them, the assassin selected at this time was a midget of a height no taller than up to an adult's knees. Weird. Was he like that when he was alive? Or was this a special characteristic exaggerated by becoming a servant? Assassin did not have the build of a dwarf that would appear in a fairy tale. He had a form as cultivated as that of an acrobat. He could have been a clown from a circus. A worthless heroic spirit with a small body. However, it was a strong advantage for the class of assassin. Not only did it make detecting his presence difficult, the area that could be hit was overwhelmingly small. His speed was among the fastest of the servants. Tracking his body racing through the trees with unmodified eyes was difficult. In addition, the reason for the name was the one-hit noble phantasm that he possessed. By the time I fully understood the disadvantage I had on this terrain, the poison had immobilized my legs. I was confident that I could catch him on a flat plain with nowhere to hide, but in a forest with this many obstructions, I was helpless. Knowing that, I had made my final bet, using my life as a gambling chip. I used the left side of my body to lure Assassin out of the shadow of the trees. Assassin would judge that I could not retaliate, and then move towards my left side at lightning speed. Then I would counterattack with a full force straight right into him. The timing was perfect. The charging assassin couldn't dodge either right or left and couldn't completely nullify the effects of the impact by blocking. That was the drawback of having a small body. Yet not even that slowed him down. Just before impact, he jumped and landed on my fist with a comical plop. On my straight right, the one I prided in having a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. And as a counter, no less. I do have a rich record of swords in combat, but this was the first time that I'd seen an enemy scuttle towards me on my arm. It brought to mind images of unbelievably miraculous deeds, such as standing on the tip of a lance. Assassin extended his left hand to my face, and my consciousness was cut off at that point. My mutter.
どうした？まだ体が硬いのか？
They're still not showing it, May. Okay.
いえ、調子は万全です。蘇生にも慣れましたから。今の胸焼けはあなたのおかげです。最後の瞬間、アサシンの手が額に触れた感触を思い出しまして。
あ、そうか。悪い。気が利かなくて申し訳ない。
Cackling, he continues with his puzzle. What he's really laughing at is my own failure. This is nothing like teasing. That man is host to a personality disorder that makes him laugh over sad news as much as over anything actually comical.
いいです。そちらにも慣れましたから。それでアベンジャー。あなたが私をここまで運んできたのですか？
いや、俺も殺された。二人一緒に一日前の今に戻ったわけだ。
Oh, so you... interesting. So, just before midnight, so if you made it to the if you made it past midnight, would you have come back to the beginning of the second day? And then at that point, would she still have been dead because she died prior to that? There's been almost no progress. How many days have passed since I woke up in this mansion? We haven't even passed the fourth night yet. Oh, so you've gotten up to the fourth. Oh, right. Are you also having a 4-day loop ultimately? Perhaps out of disappointment with myself, I grasped the earring in my pocket unconsciously. I took it with me when I left my country. It's probably some kind of a protective charm. I don't remember why I had brought it, but it must be something like an amulet, judging by how carefully I kept it tucked away. Really? That's suspicious.
しかしありゃマスターのせいじゃないぜ。あのアサシンが変すぎたんだよ。あんたの拳確かに当たってたしな。ま、気に病むことはないんじゃない？あんたは俺っていうハンデがあるんだ。初戦で相手に宝具を使わせたのは称賛に値する。
気休めです。いくら善戦しようと死んでしまっては何にもなら。
Wrong, technically. If you know more about what he can do, that's a massive advantage. No, that's our advantage. I haven't made full use of it yet, but this servant can bring the dead back to life. As long as our contract is still in effect, I will continue to be resurrected.
そうか。この方法でも問題はない。いえ、むしろこれがあなたの武器だ。利用しない手はない。
By getting information on the enemy like this, eventually we will be able to defeat them using the appropriate preparations to ensure victory.
これで有利なのは私たちだ。アサシンの特徴が分かった以上、あとはいかに平地におびき寄せるかだけ。
Right, fair enough. So you definitely can take out some of them, but I imagine there are some challenges that you cannot overcome, yeah? Saber, for example. I clench my, especially two sabers. I clench my right fist. At this rate, I don't have to wait for the enemy masters to be weakened. A perfect victory is achievable. If I eliminate them one by one straight out, even the association would treat me a...
割と順応してるんだな、マスター。こんなに負けが続いてるんだ。てっきり落ち込んでるか、俺の不甲斐なさに呆れてるのかと思ったんだが。
いえ、それは確かにそうなのですが。
Come to think of it, what am I thinking? Even if I do have this ability, I've been defeated again and again. I'm becoming careless. Had I tried hard enough, I should have been able to defeat Assassin. But instead, I'm taking my time prolonging the final battle until I feel I've learned enough about his abilities. It is as if... No, that couldn't be true. As the representing magus of the association, I'm only fighting battles that cannot be lost.
日数を重ねてるわけじゃねえからいいけどさ、時間を幾分無駄に使ってるよな、俺たち。
The servant stands up. Leaving the puzzle unfinished, he walks towards the entranceway.
続けようぜ、マスター。まだ調べてない場所があるだろう。
Led on by the servant, I also rise up from the sofa. Carrying Rotch over my shoulder, I grip the earring in my pocket one more time and leave for the Holy Grail War. This is gonna be a little sudden, but Basset Fraga McRemitz is one weird lady. Her outsides and her insides are weird, first of all. They don't match. Now, on the outside, she looks like my personal favorite, the dignified, mature woman. What's on the inside, though, is a lowly coward, no self-esteem. I assume we're to his perspective. To hide that, she's putting her body and psyche through some rigorous training. My guess, rather what I'd like to be true, is that she's the kind of woman that likes bullying herself. Has to be that. Yet, after all, she's able to put herself through more training than normal. The able woman armor she built up out of all that, it sure is a tough one. Good looks and structural strength, all but guaranteed. Except if you want to be able to move wearing a suit of armor, it's gotta have a few gaps. And that's where I sometimes get the opportunity to see the real Bazette peeking through. I don't have to bother saying what that's like. Anything protected by a suit of armor for years ought to be kind of like a smooth-boiled egg without a shell. Refreshingly cute enough to make me want to munch parts of it away. But the thing is, no matter how adorable the insides might be, the armor she built up for over 10 years is just too damn stubborn. Once she gets into mission battle mode, any man would probably drop whatever fantasies or lusts he could possibly have for her. Here's an example that just happened.
空腹になりました。食事をとりましょう。
That came out of nowhere. After beating the crap out of 3 monsters, she said that as if she was measuring her pulse.
あなたも付き合いなさい。私からの魔力提供だけでは味気ないでしょ。
Said a master that was awfully caring of her servant. Except the place she barged into without any hesitation was the beef bowl store right in front of us. Even I knew about this. The cheapest, worst, most common place to eat in Shinto. Just so you know, even if there was nobody around, there were other places to get a meal. There's even one of those expensive places that seemed like they suit Vazette just 100 meters ahead. But she still picked the place in front of us. No mistake, she picked it just because it just happened to be the closest one around, yeah?
何か不満でも。
いや、不満というか、不思議というか。
では行きましょう。実体化を忘れないように。
There's no stopping her. In the end, Bazette paid for the food coupon in a snap and got beef bowls and miso soup for 2. Gobbled it all down in 3 minutes flat and went outside.
やはり何か不満でも。
不満つうか、不思議つうか。今の飯、うまかった？
量は多かったですね。スープは余分でした。ですが、調理時間が1分弱というのは素晴らしい。次からはあの店を利用しましょう。
Interesting. Very efficient. And that's all she had to say about it. She saw mealtime as nothing more than a way to get nutrition. Unrefined and unreasonable. That's what that is. We were looking at the base of one of the known masters. Ooh. After their investigation, we judged that no one was inside.
アベンジャー、扉のロックを解除できますか？
まあ割と単純なやつなら解析はできるかな。けどあんたがやった方が確実だぜ。教会屈指の魔術師なんだろ。
Well, if Jozaka and Asakura have a very different lineage in this somehow, then would she still live here, I wonder?
鍵開けは得意分野ではありません。あなたに任せます。
And that's how I ended up doing it. My master is weak at this kind of delicate work, apparently. Made for total violence, she is.
じゃ、任された。少し時間もらうぞ。ここの。
I shoved my arm into the roots of the tree in the garden, then sat inside of the entryway. Astral bodies are useful for stuff like this. I can overlay my own circuits onto magic, somehow. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. 40 seconds.
うわあ！何してんだあんた！
She just plain out smashed the whole damn thing to oblivion.
侵入します。援護。
That was her only excuse. No, that wasn't even an explanation. And more importantly, this wasn't a raid. Putting her leather gloves on, Bazette charged into the enemy's base, no hesitation. Unrefined, unreasonable, and lazy is truly what it is. Yeah. Yeah, she's, not exactly flexible, is she? We finally reached the park. Physically, I'm only a little tired, but mentally, I am exhausted. If I could dematerialize, I'd be able to cut the physical fatigue, but since I can't, I have to walk on my bare materialized feet.
水。
I head for the park fountain. There are drops of white liquid on the road, starting from the top of the hill and leading to where I am now. Concerning. That's right. It's traces of the milk that I've been soaked with. Okay, yeah, milk, sure.
おい、離れてんなよ。俺たちは協力関係だろ。もっ
I move around. What happened? Also, is this just his vision or something? With like the, like parts of it just like cut out? Bazette of all people's laughing.
あのよ、これあんたの無鉄砲な行動の結果なんだけどな。マスターの危機をかばってこうなったわけ。ついでに言うと、館の風呂もそこらの民家の風呂も使うなってんで、ここまで降りてきたのもあんたの指示なんだけどさ。
Where was there milk in the... So I followed all of her instructions and this is my reward. What kind of spoiled princess does she think she is?
それは感謝しています。あなたがかばってくれなかったら私がそうなっていた。
Like hell you are. Shit, I think I'm gonna give her a big hug to not leave her out of the fun. Damn it.
どうしましたアベンジャー。水道はあっちですよ。ミルクでも目に入りましたか？
I am so going to kill you. If we're gonna run with a cow theme, I want to give Bull vs. Matador a try. Then again, there's no way I'd ever catch that walking weapon.
アクソン、あんなトラップ黙っとけばよかったんだ。あーつまんねえ。イベント見逃した。
Shut up. I'm
いや、本気で損したぞなんか。マスターみたいな可愛げのない女がミルクに溺れるなんて。すげえ美味しい絵面じゃんか。
sure, bud.
アベンジャー、マスターとしての命令です。くだらないことを言っていないで、早く体を洗いなさい。
You want to use a command spell on that? Alright. I say and go remove the filth from my body. Once the excess is removed, I can dematerialize. While I'm covered with that milk, dematerialization is impossible. Wait, why? Could have been an anti-servant trap, but it also might have been a more dramatic effect. Might have had a more dramatic effect on a normal body. Anyway, we hadn't found anything worthwhile in that mansion. On the way out, it's activated when intruders leave, I bet. We set off the trap in the entranceway.
しかし、なんだって牛乳なんだよ。
Is it actually milk? I wonder.
この国じゃ動物の乳に魔除け信仰でもあんのかよ。
No idea. But it doesn't sound too weird.
ねえよな。本気でただの嫌がらせじゃねえのかこれ。
Like it sounds like it could be a believable thing somewhere, someplace that has people that believe that, basically.
どうでしょうね。けど、相手にも慈悲はあります。物が取れたての新鮮な牛乳で助かりましたね。
She points out the silver lining while smothering her laughter. Yeah, that's not what the problem is, lady. We continue our patrol. To kill the monsters and to find the masters, Bazette wanders the city under the pretense of both. What a roundabout way of doing things. This isn't the wind of war. Bazette is looking for something else. What makes it roundabout is the fact that Bazette herself doesn't realize it. She's anxious because she can't totally forget that. It makes me want to have a certain idiot. Want to have a certain idiot who forgot about his own power follow her example. That sounds like you're referring to Shiro. Huh. Huh. Because wasn't that the whole big thing for when he died to Archer that time? She's acting a little strange. Maybe she had a bad experience at a harbor. After looking at the sea for some time.
アベンジャー、私たちは多くのマスターと戦ってきた。セイバー、アーチャー、キャスター、ライダー、アサシン、そしてあなた。
That would be 6. There's supposed to be 7, right? And then, assuming things aren't too different, Gilgamesh is out there too. actually is the... Well, I mean, there's a question. How many of them are even the same?
まだ直接出会っていない敵はアインツベルンのマスターとサーバントだけです。
Who would presumably be Berserker? Still, yeah?
そうなるな。今んとこ全部黒星ってのがパッとしねえ話だけど。
ええ、明確な勝利はまだ一度もない。いかに相手が破格の使いまであるサーバントといっても誇れたことではありません。
Basette grits her teeth. Not from the pain of defeat, but because she's trying to rouse herself.
弱気になっているのは分かっています。それでもあなたの意見を聞かせてほしい。私たちは勝てると思う。戦力的に劣るのが事実でもこうして繰り返していけばいつか。
One of these days we should win the war, right? Her eyes ask. We're losing because we don't have enough experience. Basette uses me a little for fighting. If I tell her what my real Noble Phantasm is, there's no servant we can't handle. Ooh. Well, we'll pick up victory pattern of sorts anyways, whether we want one or not, so I don't really need to tell her now, but...
いつか負けることはなくなるだろう。
Interesting. What your real Noble Phantasm is. Interesting. Did you lie about how it worked, maybe? Or is there something else that you can do as well?
それよりさ、戦いに勝てるかって話が私から私たちに変わってるぜ、マスター。
I just had to point that out because I found it amusing.
いえ、そうですか。私は別に意識して言ったわけではないのですが。
そりゃ余計に面白い。無意識に俺のことを信用してるってことだもんな。何？愛情？仲間として愛情が芽生えたと取っていいのか？
As a friend, interesting that you chose that route.
ふざけてないで話をそれで負けないという根拠は何ですか？隠していないで正直に報告してください。
根拠はまだないが、そのうち結果は出る。あんたにはサーバントを倒す切り札があるんだろ？それと同じで俺にはサーバントを少しだけ足止めさせる切り札がある。これだけ揃ってればあとは立ち回り次第だ。それはこれから息を合わせればいい。
Interesting. That sounds like it's a separate power at the very least, rather than a different explanation for what's happened.
切り札です。宝具を複数持っているのですか？あなた。
いや、俺は一つしか持っていない。蘇生はまあ俺じゃなくてアンリマユとしての後付けなんだ。
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, they've had multiple ones before, haven't they? Like, Saber has, like, the 3 or something, right? Like, she had, like, the invisible blade, the super striking thing, and... I feel like there's a third one. I don't remember at the top of my head, though.
俺の宝具はアベスターの偽物でね。ああ、それは帰ったら教えてやるよ。
I don't know what that is, so great. Perfect. Avesta is a support type, no phantasm, that records events by its own volition. On the level of an automatic typewriter, basically. Absolutely useless in a fight. The advantage is that it's able to put into words emotions that are indescribable, and ones that you wouldn't even be able to be aware of. Huh. Don't tell me we're gonna say something like all this text and whatnot that is coming up on screen for the visual novel, that's Avesta. We're not saying that, is it? That would be super meta. It's imitation too, not the real thing. A noble phantasm that's incapable of harming anyone befitting the name Avesta, the book that describes all things correctly. My noble phantasm, yeah, just a little bit of an imitation of that, but...
とにかくこれ以上負けたくないって言うんならあんたも本気になる。あんたの戦闘能力はマスター随一だ。下手すりゃ素でサーバントを倒しかねないってのに なんでそう自信がねえんだよ。
それは確かにサーバントであろうと遅れを取る気はありませんが、私にできることは戦闘だけです。
So is the explanation for why she went down during the Fate's Day night events to Kodamine and whatnot because she takes too long to get serious?
他の技術はそのマスター中最低だと思います。
いいじゃねえかそれで。なんで腕っぷしが強いことに罪悪感持ってんのかね。割とみっともないぜそういうの。
私は別に罪悪感など持っていません。今まで殺めてきた命に未練も後悔もない。
頼もしいね鉄の女。その域でもっと頑張れ。まあこれ以上頑張られると俺の立つ瀬がねえんだけどな。あんた今のままでも俺の10倍は強いしさ。
ええ、分かりきったことですね。あなたが戦闘面で頼りにならないことは初日で痛感していますから。
そうそう。ああけど人間殺し競争なら俺が一番だぞ。こればっかりは向き不向きがあるからな。って一番じゃねえか。世界
あなたより上の人殺しがいるの？
Oh yeah, that raises the eyebrow, yeah?
いるぜ。犬と雲。こいつらにはまあどうやっても追いつけない。質はともかくスピードが違うんだよスピードが。
Huh. Dog and spider. That's not ringing any bells at the very least. Never got into a competition with them or even met him, but I understand it as an undeniable fact. It's just like how a spider knows how to spin a web from the moment of birth. I learned that's how the rules were from the moment I was called Angrimanyu.
英霊として速さでは勝てないという制約を受けているのですね。アベンジャー、あなたはアンリマユという名称を受けていると言いましたが、それは神名ではないでしょう。あなたの生前の名は何というのです？
それはわからないって言っただろ。
Yeah, that's what I thought.
俺に名前はないんだって。アンリマユってのが発音しづらかったらアンリで構わないけど。
I'll just call you Angry. Hi, Angry.
そんなはずはない。自分の名前ぐらいは思い出せるはずだ。いえ、私も人のことは言えませんが、名前は全ての始まりです。生まれ落ちた時に与えられた名は振り返って人生を表すものだ。思い出せないのならそんな悠長に口笛など吹いてはいられないはずです。
Well, I think you're imposing a bit of your own values onto someone else. I think that's probably part of the problem here.
わかんねえやつだな。だから名前はないんだ。英雄として扱われる時に剥奪された。俺のところは呪いだけは一級品でね。呪術的に剥離されたんで、生まれた時の名前も自分がなんて呼ばれていたのかもわからない。思い出せとか言われても、もうそんな記録はこの世のどこにもないわけだ。
A name, if you think about it, is your own life, huh? She's got a bit of a silver tongue on her. I can't just sit back and lose to her, so I guess I'll tell her a few things. This is a common old story. In it, there's a man whose life is saved by his friend. To save that man, the friend died. The man took the name of the friend who died to save him, and from then on saved the lives of many. This was to give what remained in the world after, his deeds, his life, everything, to his friend who had wagered his life for him. There's nothing heartwarming about a story like that. Not at all. To put it simply, that man died long ago when he swore to lie about his own name and use his friends.
では、あなたの生前の名前はもう。
Interesting. I assume he's referring to himself in that capacity.
ないよ。けど今の呼び名は気に入ってる。生まれた時の名前よりそっちで呼ばれたのが長いからな。
Are you referring to Angrimanyu or is there another one?
愛着もあるし馴染みも深いさ。
なるほど。生誕の名は失われましたが、以後の名称は英雄として呼び親しまれたものだったのですね。称号といえど人々から喝采を受けたのだ。気に入らないはずがない。申し訳ありません。あなたに謝らなければ。早合点して見当違いの同情などしてしまった。
まあ、あんたが気にすることでもないし、謝ることはないんだけど。
So, again, are you referring to I'm remind you, or is there another one? It's okay to come to a hasty conclusion, but pity's bad. If you're gonna pity me, give me some love instead. Oh, please love me.
まあ、罰として、次はあんたの番にしよう。名前は人生なんだろ？マスターのフルネームは大行だからな。さぞかしご立派な思い出話があるんだろうさ。
私の昔話ですか？いえ、やめておきましょう。きっとつまらない。あなたを喜ばすようなものでは。
いいんだ、つまんなくても。ほら、謝ってくれるんだろう、マスター。大丈夫、まだ知らない話なら何だって俺には面白いからさ。
Interesting.
わかりました。ほんと、口は災いのもとですね。
Interesting thought. That is absolutely right. Oh, but most myths have something good happening after disaster, yeah? It'd be nice if my master could get that kind of special reward too. Are you referring to something she actually would want, or are you
以
still
上が
referring?
私の経歴です。満足しましたか？
She did that instead. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think he wanted to get at, her young days rather than the work record. Well.
まあ、客観的には理解できた。
Bazette's story told only the straight truth. Bazette's family came from an ancient Magus lineage, starting back as far as the Age of Gods, apparently. They were originally a great rune house that served the gods and were granted a special ritual that other lineages did not have. Okay, so are we saying they're actual gods? Or is this a story? The impression I've gotten is that there aren't actual gods. It's all stories at a point. You could say they were the Sibyl elite, except they set themselves up in the middle of nowhere and they didn't have anything that could be called a clan. Elite, but elites without fortune or fame. The prestige, at least, was one of the highest grade, but all they had to show for it was a training hall out in the sticks dedicated only to the passing on the ritual to one child in the family each generation. Bazette, the successor to that house, strove to learn the ritual since he was born and reproduce that ritual as if it was nothing, just like her ancestors. God's holder, tradition carrier. A magic trait that was passed down continuously since the Age of Gods. Different from a magic circuit. To think he was able to last for thousands of years, that is a shock. Yeah, well, from what I heard, it wasn't so much from the genes of the bloodline, but from the pathogen that was living in a particular something that was kept for generations. Something like that. Interesting. Bazette, who finished her training and gained the name Fraga, didn't say why she joined the Mages Association. But I could figure it out even if she didn't talk about it. Basically, she wanted to train herself in front of the many more people to overcome her feelings of obligation. Bazette ignored her parents' objections and contacted the association. The association invited the unexpected new nobility into their ranks. The association welcomed their new comrade, one that passed on the lost arts, and Bazette was invited into the Mages Association with much fanfare. But the welcome that awaited her was just a formality. Didn't look like there was a place in the association for Bazette. Magi are very conscious of competition. Despite being an exclusivist lot, the Mages Association, which has guarded its authority for hundreds of years, is a place of power struggles rife with scheming on the inside. They want the power to appeal to the outside, but on the inside, newcomers that shine too bright are worse than incompetent underlings. Basically, there hasn't been a seat for a new house to sit in for centuries in the Mages Association. Even so, Bazette tried her best. Overdoing herself even for the association, where she was unwanted, she seemed more of a nuisance the more results she produced. and was treated as a tumorous authority figure. And in the end, the association sent her to the front line to get rid of her. The sealing designation, enforcers. The job of the Mages Association prize crazies. Their equivalent of the Holy Church's heretic inquisitors, the executors. A sealing designation refers to the restraining, capture, and lifetime confinement of uniquely gifted or taboo-breaking magi in the name of protection. Bizette was chosen to be one of those who carry out this deed. After that, it seems she just blew around the world solving problems, obeying the orders of the association for years. Pretty faithful of her, considering she doesn't get an equivalent reward for all that. And that was the background of Bizette Fraga McRemits. There's a lot I want to make jabs at, but what I want to hit at the most would be...
しかし男っ気ねえな。魔術一筋かよ。何？地元に恋人とかいねえの？
いません。別に必要ではありませんから。
必要ってなんだそれ。必要じゃなくてもいるだろう普通。毎日つまんなくねえか？
Video games?
孤立には慣れていますから。
Sorry.
悲しくも寂しくもありませんし、自分の欠落感を埋めなくとも今はやっていけている。
This looks severe. Need or don't need, lonely or sad, lacking something or your other half. What a bunch of bull. This lady, she's never had a man in her life.
あんたさ、処女？
I'm looking at my partner very seriously. Just like house girl would nibble on a walnut, with honesty, diligence, and sometimes sharpness. Yeah, okay, so you are insecure about that. My master inches a half step back.
仕事上経験はありますが、質問の意図が分かりません。そんなの聖杯戦争には関係のないことじゃないですか。
So yes, and you've probably kissed a guy before, as a result of work stuff. Ah, so she has gotten some. Are we sure? Because from my experience, people who just say they have experience usually don't literally mean that aspect of it. Because that's why they're dancing around and being so vague. No, that's mighty fine, but I wasn't messing with you just for fun's sake alone. I mess with you for fun's sake, and because it's a bit, relevant.
いや、関係はある。これは人間として強いかどうかの話なんだ。
Hear that, guys? Your virginity will determine your how strong you are as a human being.
いいか、マスター。愛欲を甘く見てはいけない。何しろ一番強い行動原理だ。
Interesting. Interesting perspective. Okay, well, vengeance is pretty strong too, but after that's done with, there's nothing left in the end. Its explosive power is strong, but it doesn't produce anything, so it adds up to pretty much zero.
何が言いたいのか分かりません。分かるのはあなたが私をからかっているということだけだ。アンリマユ、悪ふざけもいい加減に。
真剣な話だろ、これ。愛だよ、愛。それが基本にして最強だ。人間強くなれるのは愛すればこそだって言わないか？あんたはどうもそういう基本的な部分が抜け落ちてる。共に戦う身として少しばかり気になったんだよ。
I give her a serious answer. She listens to it seriously too.
信用できません。あなたの愛はよこしまなものだ。
He wasn't proposing anything. Come on, Bizette.
大体ですね。そういうことは軽々しく口にしてはダメです。
I mean, he's taking it pretty seriously too. I actually respect how seriously he's taking this. It'll lower its value, eh? Another charming comment.
なんでさ、軽々しく口にしていいだろう。恥ずかしいことじゃないんだから。
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's not taking it as like, he's not like treating it as some holier than thou sort of topic, but he sounds like he's taking it seriously to me.
愛してほしいってのは寂しいって感情表現じゃない。楽しいから、もっと楽しみたいから口にする言葉だ。 あなたが好きですっていう当たり前の挨拶だろ。それともなんだ、あんた会う人間全部気に食わないのか。それじゃあ自分から敵を作ってるようなもんだぜ。
いいでしょう。とりあえず助言として聞いておきます。まったく子供のくせに口が達者なんだから。
Interesting.
そりゃどうも。でもガキだけど子供じゃないぜ。まあ大人ってわけでもねえけど。
Are we talking about literally or? I stopped being a child, that's all.
どうだか私にはただの生意気な少年に見えますが、私より5歳ほど年下の。
Interesting.
そうマスター何歳さ。
23です。それが何か。
That's 5 years is awfully specific.
嘘。何そんな若いの。
Is that an insult when he gets surprised by it?
てっきり味噌汁近いかと思ってたぞ俺。
Whoops, kill me meter is heading into the critical zone.
面白い。その根拠は何でしょう、アベンジャー。
Yeah, the mouth really is the source of all disasters.
だって大人歴長そうじゃん。仕事慣れしすぎてるだろ。社会に出たのいつ頃か話してみろよ。
15の頃ですが、早すぎるということはありません。それまで鍛錬を積んできたのですから、能力的に問題はありませんでした。
Oh yeah, I definitely see how her parents had a big problem with it then.
でその時からそんな格好をしてたわけか。なるほど。23年もやってりゃ固くもなるよな。
Now it makes sense. That armor she's been wearing is a masterpiece seasoned by years of service.
何を聞いていたのですか、あなたは。キャリアは8年と言いましたが。
そりゃ鎧を着込んでた年数だろ。俺が言ってんのはあんたの不器用さ戦記ですよ。たく人間の平均的な幼年期が10年経ってんなら、あんたはすでに33歳だっての。生まれた時点でもう大人だったんだから、足して30の大台オーバーじゃねえか。
Interesting.
今の俺より一回り上なんてさすがに。なんだ味噌汁近いだろうって俺の直感当たってんじゃん。
Ha! I nod gruffly. Remember, kids, once you turn 30, it's all over. Only downhill from there. I think she's fed up with me from the bottom of her heart. She just stands there without saying a single word.
休憩はここまでです。町に戻って調査を再開しましょう。
はいよ。今まで通り後ろ向きに頑張るとしますか。
I walk ahead a percent.
あなた、私をバカにしているでしょ。
あ？だってバカだろあんた。
Ouch. We're not half bad in terms of balance. A brat that's not being a kid. An idiot that threw away being a child from the start.
あれ？おい、マスター。
Bizette stops dead in her tracks. She doesn't move an inch. Maybe she's found something.
なんだよ。何か見つけたのかマスター。
I approach her while scratching my head. Ah.
どうかしています。悔しいけど、あなたの言う通りです。アンリマユ、私はバカだ。そうストレートに言われると、さすがにごまかしきれません。
She said with a natural tone of voice.
何？人に言われたことなかったんだ。
Yeah. Don't people always just call each other fools when they think they're fools?
はい。あなたのように面と向かって言う人間は、私の周りにはいなかった。
This woman has absolutely no luck. There are plenty of good men that would say that much, yet she just didn't have the luck to meet any.
知らなかった。誰かに弱さを指摘されるということは、自分を認めてもらうということなのですね。へえ、 あなたの前ではこれぐらいの力の抜きようがちょうどいい。私だけ気を張っていては割が合いませんからね。
There's no sense in staring too long. This kind of sight is rare among the scenery that I'll eventually grow tired of. This is probably the only time it'll happen, though.
では行きましょう、アンリマユ。次は信徒の工場地帯です。
了解、マスター。それと、名前を呼ぶならアンリって呼べよ。長いだろ、それじゃ。
Okay, I assume that has to be the later one, yeah, that he was referring to?
アンリもアンリマユも変わりませんが、あなたが短縮してほしいというのならアンリと略しますが、あまりにも平凡で私はどうかと思います。
Henry. Not if you pronounce it like an actual word.
よくある名前で英霊としてはふさわしくない。
変なこと気にするんだな。はあ、そうか。そりゃ気にするか。マスターの名前は普通じゃねえもんな。いっそ俺と逆ならよかった。って、どっちも男の名前だったか。
Is Vazette a masculine name? I have no idea. I've never heard of his name before. Henry, and so on are bland names, but they're downright cute when compared to the one my mass has been saddled with. The name Vazette is very ugly. Kind of sharpish, you'd say. Or at least lacking in femininity.
アンリマユ、人の名前は人生だと言ったはずです。それを笑い物にする以上、覚悟があってのことでしょうね。
いいえ、ないです。そんな覚悟もマスターの名前への文句なんじゃないですよ。
よろしい。今後この話題は禁止とします。
So with that said, we return to the city of the Holy Grail. The night patrol is, well, fun in a way. I understand a little now why someone might continue this for days and days. Just understanding it doesn't mean that I share the sentiment, though. The night will continue forever as long as she wishes it to. The woman that I am attracted to is unconsciously trying to make this battle go on longer. A continuous repetition without end. Nevertheless, the radiance will one day disappear. Even if the form remains, the color will get duller. No matter how bright, something that has already been seen before does not have the radiance of birth. It's just like a solar eclipse. Blacken, never to shine again. I'm acting like an idiot. Thinking about whose wish this was won't change a thing. Whose wish? Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I finished that quicker than I thought I would. Interesting, though. A lot of... Oh, no. No. Wish. I guess that's a potential implication. If I take that at face value, it could mean that maybe Basak got to the end of it and was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I want this to, like, keep going on. Maybe I want this to be a thing. To just be my reality in the future, that sort of thing. So let's just put us in a loop that forces us to go through it again and again, like she won or something like that. But then she created the loop by wishing on the Holy Grail or something like that. Huh. Well, either way, that's that. So, I'll see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone.